Welcome to Facts, Fiction and Faraway Lands, your Friday ticket to wonder, words and the wide world. Why do kites have tails? Have you ever flown a kite? It can be the most exhilarating experience to see your kite flutter in the sky. Kites come in all shapes and sizes. People in China began flying kites about 3000 years ago. Those kites were made from silk. Most modern kites are made from paper, plastic, or a material called ripstop nylon, which doesn't tear easily. But why does kite need a tail? A kite's tail helps it fly straight and steady. The wind pushes the kite up and the tail keeps it balanced. If the tail is too short, the kite might wobble and spin. If it's too long, the kite might become too heavy to fly. So, the tail needs to be just right. Next time you make a kite, keep this point in mind. Try once and tell me if this tip helped you. Suraj was a kind and hard-working fisherman. He lived with his wife Lakshmi in a small village near the sea. Every day, Suraj would go out on his boat to catch fish. He would return with just enough fish to earn a little money. Suraj was gentle, but Lakshmi was often bossy and liked to tell him what to do. One morning, as Suraj was eating his breakfast, Lakshmi shouted, "There is no firewood in the house! How will I cook? Bring some firewood from the market when you come back." Suraj quietly nodded and left for the sea. He spent hours trying to catch fish but could not catch even one. As the sun was setting, he started to head home. Just then, he felt his net was heavy. When he pulled out, he saw a small golden fish caught in it. As he was about to drop the fish into a bucket, the fish suddenly spoke in a human voice. "Please let me go. I will give you anything you wish for." Suraj was shocked but felt sorry for the little fish. Who would buy such a tiny fish anyway? He thought, and gently let the fish back into the water. The fish said, "Thank you for saving me. Tell me your wish. I will grant it." Suraj quickly said, "My wife wants some firewood. Can you please help?" "Go home. Your wish will be granted," said the fish. When Suraj reached home, he saw the yard was filled with firewood. He happily told Lakshmi what had happened, but she was not pleased. "You wasted a wish on firewood," she yelled. "Go back and ask the fish for food." Suraj returned to the sea and called the fish. It appeared and granted the wish for food. Next day, their house was filled with sacks of grains and other food. Lakshmi was happy, but only for a short time. Soon, she demanded new clothes, then a bigger house, then pots of gold. Each time, Suraj went to the sea and the golden fish granted all their wishes. Now that they had wealth and a grand house, Lakshmi became worried. "What if thieves come and steal everything?" she said. "Go ask the fish to protect us." Suraj obeyed and went to the sea once again. The fish listened and granted the wish. When Suraj returned home, he saw a huge, frightening creature at the gate. It had long nails, sharp teeth, and horns. To his horror, it was Lakshmi. The fish had turned her into a demon, so no one would dare come near them. Lakshmi cried, "Your fish tricked us! Tell him to change me back!" Suraj ran to the sea and called and called and called, but the golden fish never appeared again. Lakshmi remained a demon for the rest of her life. She had a gold and big house, but no joy and no friends. It's always better not to be so greedy in life. This week, we travel to Bulgaria in the European continent. The capital of this country is Sofia. Let's look at the world map to spot Bulgaria. Today, I present two fun facts about Bulgaria. The first one is this. I have heard that in Bulgaria, nodding means no and shaking means yes. One of the most confusing cultural quirks for visitors is that Bulgarians often shake their head to mean yes and nod to mean no. This can lead to some amusing misunderstandings. Imagine saying yes to something you don't want and no to something you definitely want. Be mindful of this fact when you visit Bulgaria. Here's the second fun fact. People in Bulgaria have a unique spring tradition. On March 1st, Bulgarians celebrate Baba Marta, Grandmother March Day. They exchange red and white yarn bracelets or small ornaments called martenitsi to wish each other good health and to welcome the coming of spring. These are worn until the sight of the stork or blossoming tree that signifies the season's arrival, after which they are often tied to a tree. What a colorful tradition! Don't the bracelets remind you of friendship bands or even Raksha Bandhan in India? Today, in our Invention of the Week section, we are going to talk about something we used to build houses. Not cement, but bricks. Just as civilization was shaping up, humans felt the need to build houses. We know that most houses are made of bricks. People started making houses with bricks around 10,500 years ago during the Bronze Age. Mud bricks were made using clay found on riverbanks. This clay was mixed with straw or dried grass, kept in wooden molds and left to dry. After they dried completely, the bricks were left in the sun to bake naturally. Bricks were used to build great structures like temples that were up to 87 feet in the Mesopotamian civilization. That's some fantastic building skills for those days. What say? The word of the week is fiasco. How do we spell? F-I-A-S-C-O. Fiasco means something that went very wrong, especially when everyone expected it to go well. It's like a big mess that was supposed to be a success. Imagine your class was putting on a play. Everyone practiced and dressed up nicely. But on the day of the play, someone forgot the lines, the curtain didn't open, and the music didn't play at the right time. The audience was confused and laughed for the wrong reasons. That play became a fiasco. It didn't go as planned at all.